So I'm just going to go over the JS, desktop JS to Cloud GIS typical workflow that you see with the eStride products. Just go over the legend a little bit, blue boxes, internal data formats. And so for eStride, that would be shapefiles, file geodatabases, external data. They could be working with geo packages or maybe some vector tiles or something. Software is in the light green, and then libraries is in the darker green. So just to go over the process, we're working with data in ArcMap and ArcPro. As I said before, sometimes these are file-based systems like shapefiles, maybe it's CSV files, right? Maybe some GeoJSON or some other JSON format, rasters, geo packages. Or we could be working with file geodatabases or enterprise geodatabases. Slightly different structure, slightly different capabilities. Wherever you can, definitely if it's worth it to move file-based data into the geodatabase, and that because you get a lot of the features such as date fields, domains, and coded value domains and range domains. And that really helps out on some of the applications and some of the APIs when you're building apps. You'll be presented with nice calendar widgets, drop-down lists for domains, and that. Definitely worth it. Now again, you could be working in ArcMap with this data. It's a slightly different publishing process than ArcPro, but similar. Or maybe you're down in ArcPro. But there are different capabilities with the product, and we're starting to see those show up. Even something as simple as bookmarks, and if you want your bookmarks to have thumbnails, looks really good in Experience Builder in that. But if you built your bookmarks in ArcMap, those could be missing, right? Eventually, once you organize your data, get it set up, like I said, with domains, proper date fields, and that you can publish proper, I guess we'll call it proper bookmarks with thumbnails. We can publish that to ArcGIS Online in the portal. It'll show up typically as a web map, but the web map is just sort of a launch point in that. So the portal, once we publish in there, a lot of your data will get shotgunned across ArcGIS services as REST JSON services. So, and there's definitely a split when you're using ArcGIS Online. That feature services go like to services 1, services 2, services 3, and images go into the tile side of the services in that. And so that your data, even though it was all organized in one map, maybe it was even all in one file geodatabase, depending on its, sort of parent representation. Are you a vector? Are you a raster? You can end up on different sides of ArcGIS Online in that. If you ever take a look at the URLs for the servers where your hosted feature services or your hosted image tile services exist. Now, we usually take these services, they end up being layers, and we organize them into a map. So that's a very common process. I've coded the map here in blue, and that would mean like an internal data format. Now, some people will say, well, no, the layers in the map are the data, but you're going to find out as you use the tools, the dashboard, as you try to populate an app with bookmarks, it's actually going to the map to find that data. Like the bookmark example, it's going to the map to find the bounding box, to find its name, to find its thumbnail, depending if you're in the old map viewer creator versus the new beta viewer creator. And some runtimes, some templates, say for App Studio, actually want the app ID. So it'll find the app, and then it will find the map in the app to get the data. Okay, and so sometimes we use the apps themselves as a data source in that, which may sound strange, but when you're filling in the templates, it doesn't want the ID for the map. It wants the ID for the app, and then from there, it'll figure out where the map is and where the operational layers are inside the map. Now, when you have these maps created and you're using products like Web App Builder or Experience Builder, we typically pull those maps in to create an app around them. Now, depending what you're doing, where in that, if you're using Experience Builder, you more than likely are hitting the 4.x API. If you're in Web App Builder, on the very first screen, when you create an application, there is a radio button. Are you 2D or are you 3D? And if you are two-dimensional, you are in the 3 API. And if you want to go do 3D stuff like ArcPro Scenes, but online, then you need to be in the 4.x API. Now there's lots of runtimes that can also pull in these maps and also pull in the apps and use them as data for the app that you're building. And maybe you're using the Java runtime, so you're building on the desktop. The Android runtime, you're on a phone or a tablet. iOS, iPad, iPhone, Mac OS, and that, and a sort of a .NET runtime if you're on some Window devices. There's also the Qt runtime, which can actually run on all of those. Basically, can run on desktop, mobile. The one place it doesn't run is the web. But if we're doing web stuff, then we're probably going to be down using Web App Builder or Experience Builder. So it's just give us an idea of like where we start on the desktop with data, publishing that through the portal to ArcGIS Online, or organizing those layers or maps inside apps. And if we organize those layers into maps, and then using those assets actually that exist in ArcGIS Online as data sources for other applications that we might build, like dashboards, Web App Builder apps, or Experience Builder apps. So that was just a quick overview of the flow from desktop to cloud, and that's all for now.